Gwan, are you there? What's good? And you know who this is, baby. The #1 podcast in America, dedicated to all you kings and queens of color, homies and homettes, shoutouts, woo gals, G-boys, and charges. The one and only Jerk Jollof and Collard Greens podcast.
All right, what's good? Welcome to episode 28. Today, the JJC panel shares their worst dating and relationship experiences, as well as dating and relationship red flags to look at for all our bachelors in the game. Also, we will discuss men's common mistakes in the dating space and how men misread cues. What steps should men take to adapt to the new social norms? Before we delve any further, if you aren't already a follower or perhaps tuning in for the first time and would like to learn more about the show, then definitely check us out on Instagram at Jerk Jollof and Collard Green Podcast, where you can stay up to date on our latest offerings, announcement, and join the JJC community. Now, you know we roll deep like the ocean floor. Our personalities are like waves that are 25 feet or more. We are intelligent, witty, smooth, and brave. I don't care where you're at. Holler out JJC. Here's the team that's always eating with me. First up, we got, are you training for the Olympics? D Black?
Oh, wow. That's an inside joke, but yeah.
Wow. That's why I laugh at inside jokes.
Next, we got, let me see you no hands. Let me see you popping like rubber bands. You feel like a man. Can you sit it all in my right hand? Pop it, shake it, pop it.
Shake it.
The franchise Francis.
Yes, sir. What's poppin'? Good to be back. Again.
Yeah, I missed you.
I miss you too.
Aw. Up next, we got Losito Papipo, Dre Supadre.
Oh man, you're gracias, man. Very much appreciated. I did not know what liso means, so I had to look it up. So for all of our people, that's Smooth Daddy.
Oh, okay. Dre over there rubbing his hands like, yeah, that's me.
And of course, you got Mr. Mestarina with the beanie, who ain't scared to wear tight pants. Our yardie, G Ransom.
Yo, bop, you don't know G Ransom. Glenn out here representing for the yardies, your humble extrovert represent NYNJ. You already know. Let's go.
Let me get a beef patty with cocoa bread.
Exactly. Hard dough bread, cocoa bread with the cheese.
Next episode.
And the cream soda.
All right, before we jump into today's discussion, I'd like to dedicate this episode to Rep Youre. Shout out to a Shot of Beauty. Located in Easton, Pennsylvania, they socialize in permanent brows, but can provide a range of other services such as pencil work, microblading, permanent makeup, and more. They have it all. You can find them at ashoutofbeauty.com. That's www.ashotofbeauty.com. I love spelling things. All right, let's run it. So let's start off. What was your worst dating experience? Why? And most of all, whose fault was it?
That's a good one. Well, I'll go ahead, Salasso. No, Salasso.
No.
I got it.
All right, fine. I'll take it. Well, worst dating experience. I mean, it's been a long time ago, but I think I was like, what, maybe 15? Worst dating experience. I mean, mind you, I was still kind of figuring girls out at the time, believe it or not. And there was this girl that actually approached me. She liked me. And it was actually like at the church that we all attended at the time. You know, she was a little bit older. And I was just thinking like, oh, I was cool. I thought I was smooth. I thought I was fresh because, you know, I thought that was the, you know, that I was like, okay, I don't know, I was Mr. Rubber Waist. I was Mr. Rubber Waistline guy, right? But no, it turned out that it turned out like to be like a gag or a prank or something like that. She was like, so It basically had a
man.
dare to see who like, would date me first, bro. It was, that hurt.
Wow.
Mm.
That was my first. That was my first little girlfriend / fake girlfriend right there.
Damn, that's cold.
I got one. So my second to last first date.
Mm.
So I think I may have told this story. I think I may have told. What was that?
Is it the height one?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically it was going on a first date. This is actually a couple days before I was going to go out on my first date with my now wife. Met the woman. She was really nice, but she was really particular. I think I said on my dating profile that I was 6'5". I officially checked, I'm 6'4.5", but she was like, you're not 6'5", you're not 6'5". And she just made it a point to bring it up multiple times during the date. It was really off-putting to me. I was questioning if we should go to Home Depot and get a tape measure so I could prove her wrong. It was just such a weird experience. She would not let it go. She did try to call me back for a second date, and I was not. By that time, I'd already met my wife, and I was like, "No, I don't want to go on another date with you. You're weird about my height. You would not let it go."
Like 6'4.5" is good enough.
Yeah, it was a good date otherwise, but she just kept on making a point to mention it, and I thought we had a good time, but it was just, I don't know. It was such an awkward. It was such an awkward experience for me. I was kind of rushing to get out of the date. So yeah, I think that's the last bad date story that I can remember. Because if my wife is listening, I've never dated anyone before you. My one and only.
Retract that statement.
Okay. I'll go. Then Glenn, you can go. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think back to this. I was like, man, worst date. Then I remember there was this one time. I'm not gonna share the story of how I got the date, but I think that's what made it even hurt the most. When I met her, she was definitely out of my class. I would say that for sure. She was one of those girls that you were walking down the street and a bunch of the guys I was walking past me did not care I was there. They were still saying what's up to her. I was like,
damn,
that was rude.
Messed up.
I was like, man. But anyways, the point of the day was because I put in work to get this date. Then she told me that I reminded her of her ex. I was
wow.
Ouch.
Damn, that hurts.
That hurt.
That's rough.
That hurt. And that was probably one of the worst dates because one, she was so fine. And I was like, yo, I would do anything to she was one of those girls that you would date her just because she's so fine and just let everything else go. So, but yeah, that was definitely one of my top three for sure.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, have some respect for yourself, King. She was lucky to be on a date with you, man. You're a king. But you deserve a good looking woman. It's her loss, not yours.
Hey, exactly. You know what? This is me. I feel like every girl I date should be out of my class. So
okay.
So wouldn't she be in your class at that point?
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't out of my class. She I don't want her.
So your class ain't that high then.
What?
I said, so your class ain't that high then. You go low.
Oh, wow.
It's okay, though, because he wiped up. So
hey, you know what? I'm not going to be over here like I'm a 10, but I want my girl to be damn near 10. So, come on, bro.
You're a 10 in my eyes.
Thanks.
These mixed messages are so confusing.
I know. He's like the Sour Patch commercial. Just sour and then sweet. But that is chunky.
You're awesome, but you're trash.
Hey, you know what?
I hate you, but I love you.
You know what? I'm a solid guy, so I let the ladies decide that.
No, you wiped up. Checkmate, brother. You wiped up. You good.
Yeah,
of course. We're talking
off the market.
Conversation.
Mm-hmm. You're Zillow. You'd be off the market. Be it's exactly what he said. Well, I guess I'll go on to mine. Definitely not one of my highlight reels, but similar to D, this young lady actually approached me, right? So I invited said young lady on a date. And at this point, I was probably just coming into some level of financial stability. This is a couple of years after college. Everybody's broke and broken and destitute after that. So, but anyways, met this nice little Caribbean shorty. You know, she was mostly assimilated, but you know, still super petite. Not that was my preference, but that's how the stars aligned that night. But I have a question for y'all. When planning a date, like planning where to go, do you ever take the woman's size into consideration? Like, okay, I can only go. Yelp says, you know, 3 stars. She's 6'5". I'm gonna go to the 2-star spot instead. You know,
That's a mistake.
No.
Because I'm gonna tell you why. Well, first
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that's a mistake because that's a very dangerous statement to be making in 2021. But I will say that just by going off of someone's size is not an indicator of how much they can eat. So you got to be very careful with that. I've seen kind of the smallest people eat the most. Yeah.
Bro, super petite, as I said. Like I said, not my preference. It's just the tarot cards had it online for me, right? So basically, took her on a date, figured let's go somewhere, you know, a little fancy, not too fancy. So I went to a nice little Italian spot, suit and tie situation, you know, where some things are market price. You don't find out how much it costs till you get the bill. So this wasn't like date number 1 either. This was like date number 2. So I already told her, like, you know what? It's on me. I'm putting the bill tonight. You know, let's do this. Not that she paid for the bill in the first date anyway, but I felt like I could be a little bit more open. I mean, let her know, okay, you know, order what you want. You know what I mean? But here's my thing, yo. Courtesy 101. If somebody comps your meal, that doesn't mean that you can just order whatever the hell you want to order.
You know what I mean? You gotta be prepped for that though. You can't say I got you and just be like, oh no, I got you up until this point.
Rule number 1 for my dad: don't take someone out to dinner if you can't pay for the whole thing, no matter what they get.
Okay.
It's a fact though. Like even if you're like corporate world, if you get your meal comp, if you're taking a client out or a client takes you out, you're not gonna order the tomahawk market price. You know what I mean? You're not gonna order the twin king lobster. You know what I mean?
Not?
Why wouldn't you? It's paid for.
It's paid for.
Let me get the $3 burger.
What?
Like,
You got an allowance.
You don't
$100 for dinner.
But you don't order too expensive. You know what I mean?
Nah.
This place is already
man.
expensive. Like you gotta order in the middle. You know what I mean?
But like you, I think you set
in the
yourself
middle.
up. Like you
let me tell
picked
you
an expensive place.
I picked something nice, but not too nice. Let's be real. Nice, but not too nice. You know,
That's probably the best strategy. It's more based on location. You should really focus on where you're going, so that way you can control the price.
Jersey is like everything's expensive in Jersey, bro. Unless I'm taking you out for like a slice of pizza or something. You know what I mean? Even that's expensive. But anyway, back to the story though. So it wasn't like, all right, I had an idea, okay, the price could be somewhere within this range, but yo, she went straight Anthony Bourdain, parts unknown on the ordering, bro. Like she was ordering food just to order food. And I'm like, yo, there's no way you're gonna eat all this. Like, are you trying
taking it back to the crib?
Bro, she was trying to sample the entire menu. It got to the point where the waiter was like, more food? And I'm like looking at it like, yo, she was ordering food when I wasn't even at the table. Like I would go to the bathroom, put in more orders. So I was just like, yo, I was like, you know what? I wasn't trying to be like the angry dude. I was like, if I react too harshly, I'm gonna lose in this situation. And then at the same time, I'm gonna lose how my image looks and I'm gonna lose this date. But at that point, I was like, yo, you over ordering behind my back. You ordering meals upon meals upon meals. You trying to be Mark Ween, sample the world. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I was like, at that point, I was trying to make up every excuse to end the date. I was like, I left the stove on. I was happy sitting right now, yo. And then like she was like, oh, word. All right, let me order something to go then. I was like, nah.
What? To go?
I have a question.
Glenn.
Okay,
go ahead, Dre.
Do you remember how much the bill was?
Bro, I'm about to get to that. Because I even remembered, it's ingrained to memory till this day because it will always be like a red flag to me. Like, yo, if I ever go on a date again, I will never, in total, I remember it was like somewhere along 700 and change for 2 people.
What?
Right?
Yo,
700?
She ordered 4 appetizers, 2 entrees, 4 drinks. Half of this was behind my back, and that's just her half, right?
Did she ate all of it, or was there leftover?
She didn't eat shit. She
one
and then had the audacity to want to order food to go home, and I was like, nah.
Hold up.
Wait, here's the kicker though. You know what she told me when I told her that's enough? She was like, oh, word. Oh, it's okay. I just wanted to see how much you let me order. I was like, what? So no cap. So I was like, no lids here, bro. There's no cap at all. No hats, no nothing. no covers. Like this is just raw. So I was just like, yo, are you serious? I was like, yo, if I wasn't the gracious man that I was, your ass would be taking a taxi right now, you know?
Mm-mm.
And at that point, Uber and Lyft didn't even exist. And where we were, it was like, yo, good luck finding a cab. You know what I mean? And she didn't come with any money. Bro, she didn't come with any money at all. So literally, as soon as I dropped her home, I didn't even see her to the door. I just said, yo, you good? I bet, peace out. I blocked her on every platform I could find, bro. Even platforms that didn't even exist. I blocked her.
Oh,
like,
did anybody took the leftover home?
Bro, they sat there.
No, what? Nobody took the leftover home.
Bro, I was so disgraced. I was like, I don't want to see this food. I don't want one remember. I don't want one like memoir. I don't want anything to remember this night. I was just like, yo, I wanted to end. Recoup my.
I would have took that home.
I would took my leftover, bro.
I paid for that. It's coming home with me.
I thought you was gonna say like $300 or $400. I was gonna be like, oh man, you're not tripping. That's crazy. No, that's crazy.
Seven and change, bro.
I think that's the risk you run. We just like I'm like you can order whatever you want, and I'm gonna go to an expensive place. Like knowing your levels and boundaries. If it was me, I would have been like, all right, you can order whatever you want, but we go to McDonald's. I gotta check my financial status before I get there. If I take you somewhere where it's like market price stuff, I'm gonna let you know right now. Like, listen, I only got $400 to spend. It's on you. Like, we
would have been washing dishes, man. We would have been washing dishes
for real. Because it's like at the end of the day, what does it matter about your image? Now you just going into debt or you can't pay for something. Like that person's not worth that at the end of the day.
I'm probably still paying for that meal to this day.
Yeah, emotionally. Like it's still got a grip on you.
Apparently.
Shout out to Anthony O'Neill on IG. I don't know if you guys know Anthony O'Neill, but he actually just even posted something recently about, especially a single man, that you should have a budget for, like, even especially for dates. And if the date doesn't agree with it, surely that's a sign that you shouldn't go on a date with her in the first place. So you have to like know you have a boundary that you set. And if the girl's not even for it, then you already know she needs to kick rock. So like, the girl has to respect that boundary. And that's
she a winner where she's like, I'll pay the other half. Like, yeah, I want to go out and have fun. I'm coming to the table.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and that could work too. But the point of it is really just setting boundaries and it's more for like a budgeting standpoint to make sure we don't go broke and get ourselves on a $700 date.
Her ideal was, and that's just wrap it up on my end. Like, I just wanted to see how much I could order, and I'm like, I don't know if that's like some kinky shit that you're into. Like some people like to get choked and get manhandled, but I'm just like, yo, you don't play that kind of game like on a date where you're still trying to make an impression and still trying to make things work. Like to me, you're gonna do that with everything now, and that wasn't cool. So
I think
she got chopped.
That's communication, right? So it's just like you felt one way about the date, she felt a different way, and y'all both came in thinking two different ideas. But I mean, at that age, we really don't know, and it seems like you learned the hard way, and it's carrying 20 years later.
And that's one thing learned
today.
I'm happy with it
today. So imagine somebody like that too, because if she's willing to stretch you as far as possible on the very first interaction, bro. Imagine like years after, bro. She's like, I took 10 flights just because. I took 10 flights to get this because, like, bro.
Gaping, bro.
Run away, run the opposite direction.
I guess that rolls into red flags.
Yep.
So
if she asks you to pay for everything,
we already got one.
I just want to see how much I could order.
That's a red flag.
I guess. I mean, for me, the worst date that I had was literally I went out and the whole premise like, all right, let's go out to the movies, have dinner, and let's go back home. That's realistically all I want to do. I want to hang out with someone else just a little bit and just talk. And she was like, you're not going to take me home. I'm like, nah, like. No, I'm going to drop you back off home. It's going to be cordial. It's first date. I want to set the boundaries. So I drive her back. She's like, you're a fucking asshole. I'm like, why? Like, I treat you like an adult. I don't want to do anything else besides hang out with you. It's men like you don't understand women. I'm like, yo, it was on me for not like being stringent. Like, listen, like you're awesome. You're great. But this is where it ends. Like, I want to go on continual dates. This isn't the first time I want to do this. I'm not trying to hit it and go. I'm just trying to figure out what's happening. If you have the mental stability and the emotions to pretty much handle a dating relationship. And obviously she didn't. And no, I didn't take her somewhere really expensive. I think it was like Ruby Tuesdays. and we ordered off the appetizer menu. So I knew my financial budget.
They got good food there, though. They got good food there.
And I was just like, hey, if you think about ordering something at the movie theater to eat, unless it's popcorn, don't do it because I ain't got that money. Let's be real. So what was your biggest red flag while you were in the dating game?
Can I start with this one? All right, salad eaters. And this is what I mean by salad eaters. If I take you out to eat, don't want you to run me up. But at the same time, if you sit here and say, oh, all I want is a salad, to me, you are capping. Like, I want you to enjoy yourself. You know, I don't want you to present this front of someone that you think I want you to be. Like, I want you to enjoy yourself with limits. You know what I mean? I take you out, I kind of hope you have an understanding of how courtesy works and how dating rules, there's guidelines, there's principles, you know, follow that. But I don't want a salad eater. In that sense, I mean someone that's pretending to be something that they're not, with hopes of winning me and not being themselves up front. Like, you're putting on a front, you think, oh, this is what all men want, I'm gonna be this right now. And then a couple weeks later, a couple months later, I find out you're someone completely different. I don't want that. I want you to be up front. If you want that burger, girl, order that burger. You know what I mean? If you want that extra cheese on them fries, order them extra cheese. But just once again, follow the guidelines.
Just not the at market burger.
You sending mixed messages.
Bro.
You don't want someone to order a salad, but you don't want someone to run up the bill. What is it, man?
I want you to get that fillet, but don't get the whole fillet.
Yeah, don't get also the lobster tail add-on.
Okay, princess.
It's a line. That's a good point, because then she gets the steak and you be like, okay, all right, and then she be like, I'm gonna get the shrimp added on. I'm gonna get the lobster added on. Now you're looking at her salad. Are you crazy? You lost your mind?
If you genuinely love salad, I still got love for you.
I was gonna say,
that's funny because my wife loves salad. She loves a good salad.
No vegans here.
For me, my biggest red flag is it's one of those girls that has the big eye for the crew, you know, especially in the dating game, because this will tell a lot about like the kind of my group, my guy friends. But like, we have a saying that if you haven't locked her down, don't bring her around.
Oh man.
But like the thing is like, if a girl comes around the crew and she's like looking at a bunch of the rest of the guys and she's interested in like one or two of the other guys, it's like, that's already a red flag for me. It's like, nah, it's either you fully into the person you're with or you're not. So like,
that's a good point.
And that's like, you know, I've seen that plenty of time, just even within my circle of men, where a girl bring into the circle and the next thing you know, she's like talking to one of the other guys on the side or something. It's just kind of crazy, like how girls could be sometimes. I mean, guys are like that too, but so that's one. And another one is if you on a date and you really just kind of constantly talk about yourself and what you're doing and really not show any interest and to learn more about me. That would be my two red flags.
Your second biggest? I said your biggest, which is one.
Well, I'm just saying like one in the actual dating game and one in like an actual date.
Okay.
So I gave you're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anybody else?
For me, red flags. I don't know, man. I feel like people expose themselves when they're crazy. So like when I see the crazy start coming out, or they start saying something crazy, or I don't know. I guess I've been out of the dating game for so damn long. It's kind of hard. So I guess if you're not my wife, then that's a red flag. How about that?
I mean, but like they weren't your wife when you were dating them. Like,
come on, guys,
like,
give us some juice. Spill the beans, bro.
Oh, you're not getting off that easy. Nope.
Oh, all right. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe just because I don't know. I'm a very family-oriented person. Everybody knows me. I'm all about family and togetherness. And I don't know. For me, if you really kind of don't like, if you don't, I mean, family. Again, it's a word. You can define family how you want, but if you don't have anyone close to you, you don't have anyone you talk to, no one you associate with on a regular basis, nobody you're close with. I mean, it kind of makes me feel like I get the sense that, you know, you're very all about yourself. very selfish. You're not gonna be able to, foster like my needs, because ultimately you're gonna be focused on whatever you want and only what you want. So, I mean, that'd be a red flag for me.
Yeah, I guess for me, red flag would be just just not being open about like what the situation is, right? So if we're dating and let's just say you're also still your ex is still maybe in the picture or something like that, I think that's probably a red flag for me. It's just not being really open or honest about wherever we're at in the dating process. So I think, there was someone I was dating where we were like talking all the time, we were going out on these dates, and then she literally just like stopped communicating with me, like just altogether, right? So to me, that's kind of a red flag, right? You don't respect me enough to at least tell me like, hey, like I went back with my ex or whatever. So I think I had like one drunken night where I drank too much, and I was like, I texted her, I was like, what happened to you? I was like, what happened? Like, you just like ghosted me, that was like I know maybe we'll talk about that, but yeah, I feel like I got ghosted, and it was not a good feeling. So fellas, don't be doing that to women out there. It's not a good feeling to be ghosted. I really just wanted her to be. I wasn't even hurt that like we weren't talking anymore. It was more just the fact that she didn't have the maybe she was too scared or whatever. But I looked at it as like she didn't respect me enough to kind of be open with me and just communicate with me. Yeah, but I don't think that's a lot to ask for, to be honest with you. I know it's like hard to maybe tell someone that maybe you're dating that you're not maybe interested, or maybe an ex pop back up. But to me, communication is a huge red flag. If someone can't communicate really early on in the relationship, if you can't communicate early on, it's not going to get better from my side.
Yeah, that mutual respect is key. We'll hop into that later on in the episode. I would say for me, red flag is just that if we're out on a date, and this is like way in the beginning, like when I was way younger, it's just attention span, right? If you're in your phone while we're on a date, to me that's a red flag. One or two things: either one, I'm not interesting enough, and that's cool. If I'm not interesting you, let's just call it where we're at. Let's just get up and walk away, because I'm not going to entertain you and spend $750 on a check for a meal. Two, it's just that if something else is more interesting on your phone than at the table, it shows me that you really don't care about too much besides yourself. What Francis was saying, you're involved in your own little bubble. You only care about you. So if this does go further, that's something that I can look out to expect moving forward in a relationship with you. So it doesn't make any sense to me to try to change who you are in that aspect. Like, hey, look at me, talk to me. If that's how you roll, another dude may like that. I honestly don't. So I'm not going to pretend or fake the funk. It's just like, all right, well, we're done. Let's get up and let's go. If you're willing to adjust, that's awesome. But can you be consistent in the sense that every date after that, you keep your phone in your pocket? Unless something like really is happening, like an actual emergency situation where it's your family calling you, like one of your close friends, you got to get up and go do something because something's hitting the fan. But not if you're sending like a normal text, like if I'm not sitting there in front of you. I think that is a huge red flag, and it will cause issues later on in a relationship. Being said that, did you ever try to overlook someone's bad qualities because they look good?
Yeah.
The yams got you?
The yams. The yams.
Honestly,
Yes.
not even. Not even. It wasn't even a yam situation. It's just that I don't know. I've always been like a relationship committal person, and Selassie knows about my relationship before my wife, long time ago. But Chuck, about it too. But I thought she was bad. We were the same culture. I thought it was destined to be. She was making all types of mistakes, and I was like, I could probably still make it work. I could probably still figure it out. Nah, that jump went sour even quicker. So you gotta be true to yourself, and you gotta read those signs. So funny. So my bad. Just to circle back to the red flags, I just think it's kind of funny because I'm not good at reading social cues. I've never actually. I guess I'm getting better at it because I interact with people all the time, but I've never been good at it. I've never been good at reading when that should be a red flag. So it was always nice that I had like a counsel, right? I had Selassie, I had Chunk really early in life, and I would tell them like about the person. They were like, "She did what? Are you serious?" Nah, you can get that out of here. Get her out of here, bro. Get her out of here, bro. Pass on that. You know, so if you're not good at reading social cues like me, make sure you got a good counsel around you that can kind of advise you. You know what I mean? But anyway, go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, I would say pretty girl privilege or pretty woman privilege or pretty privilege. I'll just say that pretty privilege does exist. And have I ever been a victim of it? Yes. I mean, I'll be for real. We are visual creatures. There's something about a person that's well put together, appealing to the eye, that's the first thing you see. That's nonverbal. That's the first attraction. And once that is engaged, most times, especially for us fellas, man, we are head over heels. We tend to overlook all the bad flaws, or all the flaws, period. Not that there's a good flaw, all the flaws, period. We tend to overlook them. And that can happen. Not saying that has to be your story for the rest of your life, but definitely there's something more beyond the surface. But yes, it can happen. It does happen. Nothing wrong if it does, but just know to get yourself out of that situation if you're experiencing that.
I mean, of course we let stuff go. What you mean? We are men. That's what we do. But what I would say though is, it depends what you are looking for and what the bad quality are. Like if you're looking for just, one night stand or just a girl, a shorty to come over, here and there, then it doesn't really matter because you're not really looking for nothing serious. But if you're looking for a girlfriend or a potential wife, and I think those qualities do matter more, and it's harder to overlook that. And the look is not as important. But if you just if you are really single and you just out here, smacking cheeks, then
catching yums.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. And that's for sure. You gotta let. Then quality don't matter because we just all just having fun. So you just have to be honest with that up front. You have to be honest with yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, one time, I guess this is almost going back to Glenn's horror story. There was this really beautiful woman who I was dating for a short amount of time. Her thing was she didn't want to go to chain restaurants. Like it was like a thing. I don't want to go to chain restaurant. Like it was just, she was just too bougie. And I didn't have any $700 bills, but every time we went out, I was definitely at or slightly above whatever my budget was. Every time we went out, we had a good time. Obviously she was really beautiful to be around, but there was really no more substance other than that. I just kind of felt like we were just really going out to really cool restaurants and that there was really nothing else to that. Maybe I was actually just being used for food, man. I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. But yeah, it was just her thing. She was just like, I don't want to go to, she said it before we even went on our first date. She was like, I don't do chain restaurants. And I should have known what all of that entailed. I should have now knowing what the signs were. But yeah, I'm just like, so you would be too bougie to go to some place just because there's more than one of one. I'm not saying let's go eat at McDonald's, right? But yeah, every once in a while every once in a while we can go. Right now. I know. McDonald's really isn't. McDonald's really isn't that good for you. But you know what I mean? Why can't we go to Ruby Tuesdays every once in a while, right? Why can't we just? Yeah, why can't we go to Fridays? Why can't we do the what is the place that has the 2 for $2 or whatever? Applebee's. Applebee's. Why can't it? Yeah, why can't it just be? Why does it always have to be that thing? Yeah, so it was. Yeah, she just made a really big deal about it, and I think I definitely let that. I definitely was misled or smitten by her looks, and definitely overlooked a lot of little signs like that.
Makes sense.
But I ain't had to pay no $700 bill though.
I'd have been in trouble. None of us did.
In serious trouble.
Call one of y'all to bail me out.
Like that Kanye song. I'm going to jail tonight. Going to jail tonight. If I had to pay a $700 bill at that time.
Yeah, but Dre, God is gonna come get you out. God got you though. God got you.
Not when you got
a fire alarm at a building.
I love me some God, but I needed some God that night, boy. Oh my goodness.
He's like, you got this, Bill.
You should have left when you went to the bathroom and she was still ordering.
Yo, I would have given her a look like, yo, I don't know what's I don't know what's going on here, but this ain't it.
God gave me the sign. He's like, she's still ordering, bro. Leave.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
They're like, I don't know her. She just sat here.
Oh my gosh.
No idea. I would say the bad quality that I overlooked was just that this girl was still dealing with her exes, and D-Black's been around, and he's like, "What are you gonna do about it?"
More than one exes? More than one?
I was just like, what did you say before? Like pretty girl syndrome, right? So it's just
Pretty
like,
privilege, right?
okay, cool, whatever. Like we're not that serious, but it's something that I guess I can take a learning curve from. And it came down to the point where it's just like, I can't do this. Like if home dude shows up, it's gonna be a fight. We can't coexist. I'll make
There can
that
only be one.
exactly. I'll make that decision for you. He will be eliminated. And it wasn't healthy in the sense that I kept having to think about it. If she wasn't calling or texting back, what she's doing, so on and so forth. And like, being in college is a different lifestyle, right? We're all trying to be someone, we're all trying to do something, and there are things that you're more than likely willing to deal with in that phase of your life that you won't deal with after. So it's just all getting to know yourself through the biggest level of adversity. And that level of adversity was not good. There was times that me and D-Black would talk. He was like, nah, man, don't go over there. Don't deal with the situation. Just stay here and play Halo. I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to go over there. What are you going to do? I'm going to fight him. And what's the end result?
What happens from there?
Exactly. I don't know. So, well, you need to know because there's other things you're trying to get through school. You're trying to make something of yourself, and you're to throw it away because of one person that you're trying to date that doesn't seem really interested in you. Is going to cause you a lot more harm than good. So rolling into the next question, have you ever had to deal with someone's ex? If so, how did you handle it?
Yo, bro. I've done it, man. I had to do it one time. So this was, like you said, college was such a phase of life when you were trying to figure things out, figure yourself out, learn more about yourself, learn independence, outside of the household from your parents. So I was still learning, and there was a girl that I met in my third semester in college, and I didn't realize she had then I found out later that she had an ex from high school that they were dating for a long time, but they broke up, but he was not over her yet. And I didn't know about this dude until way later. And then I found, then they like hang out still and stuff like that. And I didn't know how to even deal with that. For me, it was like, she told me like, this is my friend. It's like, nothing's going on. It's either if you can't accept them as my friend, we have to break up. So, this is like I was still like very naive at the time. So I was like, of course I respect that. And I dealt with it. And actually became a huge issue where it was crazy that her mom had to call me, the ex, and her to her house, and we had a meeting. This is like crazy.
What?
Yeah, I don't remember the detail because it's so long ago, but
and he survived.
It was such an awkward phase, and it was, bro. Like it was so crazy because he wasn't over her, and he was still trying to fight for her, and I was in the picture, and he was and this guy his dad was a professor in college in the school we went to, so it was it was just so weird. It was crazy. So I had to kind of deal with him, and eventually I had to cut ties with her because it was just too much drama with that and with him, and it was just kind of spilling over to after we broke up, and he thought we were still together, and he started spilling stuff to her. It was like, oh, I saw Francis over here talking to this girl. It was trying to he was kind of snitching.
Oh, that's shady.
Yo,
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
It was
Why would you do that?
it was trying to make me look bad to her, trying to make me look
sense.
bad because she still wanted to get back with me and not be with him. So, but because I saw the right on the wall, I had to cut the tie. So, but that was one of the craziest thing I ever had to deal with. I was just I can't remember how I got myself into that.
Did she tell you that
I know
both
why
of you were meeting?
I know why you got. I know why you got.
What?
I know why.
No,
I know
she-
why.
Yeah.
To be honest.
First word is alien.
Yams.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was also very naive. I was still I know it took me a full year to even drink in college. Like people were like thought I was like just this big party guy, but it's actually took me like a full year to even start drinking after in college. Then I was still trying to like navigate through like just the society of college and finding myself.
So 2 things. One, you went to college when you were 18.
I went to college when I was 18, yes. And at first I had my drink in college, my first drink in college, yes.
I was like, I mean, you did it the right way.
Yeah.
The other thing was
could have been senior year.
He said it's a year after freshman, sophomore, carry the 4. So the other thing that I wanted to know is just like, so how was like that setup? Like, did the mother tell you like, hey, you're gonna meet with the ex? Was it like, hey, come by, let's have dinner or whatever?
Yeah, like since it's been so long, I was trying to think about the detail about it, but she told me like my mom wanted to see both of you guys. So like, and at the time,
so mom is picking out.
Yo, her mom legit wanted to talk to her because I think it was causing a lot of stress to her. And I think, and if I don't remember all the details,
are you
like,
serious?
Yeah, it has, bro. It has.
And I got some crazy stories right now.
Bro, I remember she sat us in a table, in a dining room table, and we spoke. And I don't remember what we spoke about because, like I said, it's been so long. But that happened to me. It's a true life, it's a real life experience that I had to go through. But I'm not proud of it.
I don't get that.
That's crazy.
That's like a Murray show awkward, bro.
To the point where the mama is like, all right, we need to sit down and have a conversation.
For real.
That's
why I had to cut ties. I was like, okay. I mean, to be honest,
that's crazy. Because as a parent, my bad, but I just think
go ahead.
As a parent, like you know, that's trifling. You basically encouraging your child to be trifling. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the reason why I think I kind of stuck through it was because if you guys remember, I talked about like there was a time my parents wanted me to come back home. Mm-hmm. So that semester, the 3rd semester I already canceled my dorm, so I was living on the couch of one of my buddies' crib, and my parents didn't want us to actually work our first year and a half in college. So my parents was paying for my apartment and stuff like that. So I didn't have money. So she drove. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a job. So she pretty much was there and was riding with me on the couch, one of my buddies' crib. And I was like, and she's one of those girls that wake you up with some one of them good things too. It's like, it was just too good to be true. Like I was like, just had a soldier, right? So like when that whole thing happened, I was trying to figure it out and weather through the storm, but later was not worth it.
Yams will do it to you.
You better talk to your wife. You better talk to your wife and give her a disclaimer before she listens to this episode.
Hey, my wife is cool, man. My wife and I are secure.
She was doing what?
Oh, that's what you want me to do? You gotta be careful.
Oh God.
Good times.
I'll keep it short. I don't think I have any experiences where I've had to deal with someone's ex directly. I think there was someone who they were dating. I knew that they were dating someone, and I was being kind of I basically made her. I helped her. I basically made her cheat on her boyfriend with me at the time. I think that's the only time.
Steal your girl.
And then I had class with him. So this is high school. It's a very small.
The statute of the podcast.
Well, to be fair, she was my girlfriend before. She was my girlfriend first. So she was my girlfriend. We broke up, and then he was dating her. Yeah, he was dating her, and then I was just like, "Oh man, I want that old thing back." And then I had class with him. I had class with him, and he was, we had a conversation. He wasn't happy, but I'm just like, "Look, man, your girl chose me. I don't know what to tell you." I can't think of anything in my adult life. Nothing in my adult life, because I think older me, I would not have been dealing with any of that. I would have just been like, you know what, this ain't for me.
I was like legit every R&B song in the early 2000s.
Yo, for real.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's up to it. Hey,
All those
yeah,
Donnell
dude.
Jones and Joe and all those, all those dirty Mackin hits, all those dirty Mackin hits where you all the things your man won't do for you, all those crazy songs.
Drake's light skin, man. What y'all expect?
Oh,
Casanova.
you got me. You
Casanova
got
tribe.
me.
Keeping it
You
real.
got me. You got me.
D-Black?
I ain't got no crazy stories, bro. I just think it's interesting because I've always kind of been in like consistent just relationships most of the time. So I've never, I mean, I feel kind of prude, but damn, yeah, I got some experiences. I ain't got nothing like that. I mean, wow.
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 Yams. Wow. Yams.
Mark Weens. Whoa.
Yeah, I would say I had something similar to Francis's. So this was in high school, and I was dating a girl, and she was telling me about her ex. I'm like, listen, finish it, or else I'm gonna finish it, and it's not gonna be polite. So the dude showed up doing a barbecue, and she's like, I have to keep you two separated, blah 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 blah. And like I was like 18, so I'm just like, I don't understand. Let me see this man. Let me have a conversation with my fist to his face, and then all this can be resolved easily. She was like, no, I don't want the drama, blah 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 blah. So it went on for a while. I'm just like, look, you got to make a decision because I'm not willing to deal with this. Like, this is going on for too long. I've given you grace. I'm done with this. I'm just going to put both of you on the phone. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's one way to deal with it. And like I said, I'm like, cool, whatever. And this dude starts going off, I'm better than you. I work at this cable company. I lay down wire and, I'm getting paid. I was like,
I lay down wire, bro.
I was like, cool. So you're not getting a degree, right? No. So you're not going to be anything else but a cable man, right? No. Shut the fuck up. Like, I don't even know why you're trying to like compete with me because I'm actually in college. I actually have a plan. I'm actually with the woman that you want to be with, and I actually can beat that ass. So let's see. Like, let's take it offline and let's do it. You're like, oh man, blah blah blah. And then she hung up the phone to disconnect the call. And I'm just like, this ain't what I want to do. But like Dre saying, like, I guess if I was older looking back at it, it's like it's not even worth all that. It's like if that's the dude you want to be with, if you want to keep him in your life, it just be minus me. Because there's other things that I want to worry about. There's other things that I need to do, like what color I'm going to make my Halo character and which weapon I'm going to use to Team Slayer. Like those are the concerns that I want to have, not over some dude that you can't cut off for whatever reason, yams or not or pipe. I don't know, laying the wire. So it's just like I'm just not with it. Anyway, I'm just upset that D-Black doesn't have any crazy story, and me and Francis seem like the ones that are on the outskirts.
We had a great time.
I mean, well, the question, right? Well, but the question was like, from the perspective of, an ex. But I mean, I've been that person, I guess.
You were the ex?
I was the ex, you know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
Now you gotta tell us that.
Okay.
That counts. A crazy ex.
That count.
That count.
Oh, damn. This one's about to get interesting. All right, so I was the ex, and then mind you, she was still kind of like hit me up, trying to see what's up, from time to time. But ultimately, okay, back up. A different cousin was interested in her. And it's funny because he used to always be like asking me like, how's she doing? What's up? Asking what's going on with her. And I'm like, why are you always asking about my girl? Like, this is weird. This is like, why would you ask about that? But anyway, so I mean, he really actually had a crush on her. And it's like, again, not picking up on social cues. So as soon as we ultimately broke up, next thing you know, I find out that, they were kind of, dating and whatever. And we all kind of went, when we lived, I mean, this is back in like Irvington. So we went to different churches, but the churches were like literally 2 blocks away from each other. So after church, we kind of all met up and had a conversation. And he's like getting all feisty and extra and like wanting to scrap. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm over this. I'm like, I don't have nothing to do with the situation. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure my relationship with you is good because we're family. But he turned into like, nah, man, it's mine. Like, I was like, bro, I'm not even about all that. You know what I mean? So That's the craziest it got. You know, and then you could tell she was eating it up too, because she was like, "Oh, yeah, they about to fight over me. Yeah, they want me. Yeah." I was like, "No, you thought."
Yeah, and that's definitely one of those situations to avoid because I mean, me personally, I can't think of an experience where I didn't have an ex involved, and it wasn't even that's how I was like picking my potential partners. It was just always a thing, like especially even early on from high school, college. It was like there was always someone else in the picture. And I guess it's a good thing, right? Like someone else wants them, but it's like you're not trying to sit here. I mean, the relationship you want, you will fight for. And I don't know how to define fight. I'm not going to say it necessarily means physical, it could be emotional as well. Maybe you're fighting with yourself to change some things about you to make it work. But you know, you can sign up to Chunky 101 and you just putting the fisticuffs on everybody. But
there's only one way to get out of emotions with that guy.
Exactly. Strangle, strangulation, asphyxiation.
No, we don't strangle over here. We just limit their breathing supply.
Bludgeon.
Allegedly.
But it's like I've been in every ex situation possible, I think. And it always came down to not for real, like every crazy exes, side piece exes to just whispering exes, Casanova exes, all light-skinned exes, all of them, bro. Old man exes, every single ex you can imagine I've experienced. Yeah.
I know, right?
that should be a red flag.
Old man ex. Yeah.
This dude's like 60.
Hey, sugar daddy ex.
Yeah,
19.
You can't, when you're in college, you can't compete with that. Sugar daddy wins all the time. But it's
this guy's just trying to live up to he just letting the ladies know that he's still Mr. Rubber Waistline out here. I think that's what he's trying to imply. I think that's what he's getting at.
Very
man.
Man, but I would say I never put a woman in a situation or a partner in a situation where like you have to choose me over him. To me, it's like if you didn't see my value, then it was just a reason for me to cut you off and keep it rolling.
Yeah, you gotta be willing to tell a chick to kick rocks too, man.
Yeah, I mean, funny. Speaking of fights, that reminded me. I actually did put pause on someone once, and it was nuts. Like legit. Like one dude actually took me up on my offer in the meetup, and we met up at the high school after dark, and he was going off. I'm like, look, dude, like I don't know what to tell you. Just chill. And I actually knew him. I'm just like, listen, bro. She moved on. It's good. I'm not sorry, but I'm not going to deal with it. And he was like, you know what? She's a fucking hoe. And like, I don't know, for some reason, that just like, that hit the chord. Like, that just hit the chord. Like, me and people, I talk about it all the time. The 1 punch 2 banger. And that was that's the dude that I hit.
Rest in peace forever. Punching the man with one hand.
You knocked him out?
Yeah. It was he got up and he apologized.
Very nice.
Months later we talked and he was like, yo, I was out of line. I'm like, yeah, you were out of line. And that was the result. But yeah, I think that was
the result of you being out of line is putting you back in there.
Social consequences. We talked about it a while ago.
We talk about it a lot.
So.
Chunky, just remind me not to go there with you. So I'll just
I'll move
out of your way.
It's like I'm an adult, so I take it like what Selasi's saying. It's just like some things aren't worth the fight, and that's just in general. It's just like if we can't see eye to eye as like two professionals, it's like I gotta walk away from it. But being 18, 19 and full of testosterone, that stuff is just gonna happen. You ain't living out the rest of your teenage years if you haven't had one fight before you turn 20.
That's true.
So I would say, has there ever been a time where you misread a sign of interest from someone, whether that be a hair flick, eye bat, or a punch to the chest from another female? D Black was saying like he can't read social cues.
I was literally about to say that. Oh, like I'm terrible at social cues, and I can attest to some. Oh, my bad. You want to finish the question?
No, that's it. You got it.
Okay. Well, I got a good one. I know. So Chunky and Selasi both know this. So he was one of my friends in college. He actually had a crush on me, and I never knew. We were always good friends. We hung out, you know what I mean? And I forgot, because he so we would have this thing called like Caribbean Fest on campus
Yeah.
once a year.
I always came through for those.
And Selassie always came through.
Always came
You know what I mean? He told us how whack it was and how illegitimate the way we were doing it. This ain't
what they really do?
Fest, bro.
it was lit. It was lit. They did good.
Yeah, the first couple of years, and then they kind of.
Oh, now we did
Yeah.
good back then.
Yeah, getting y'all to party was a challenge, though. Like, come on.
Yeah, we weren't party out yet. We weren't party yet. So like that. But anyway, so we had this one. So we were talking about like carnival, and I don't think I told. I don't think I told Selassie check this story. But anyway, we were talking about carnival and like the types of dances they do and whatever. And there's one called. I forgot what like it goes like it's carnival.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. But anyway, so that song it tells you, gives you directions in carnival music.
This is where you run in a circle, right?
Yeah, so there's running in a circle. There's another one where you gotta do like a little dirty wine in it, and me, I'm just dancing, so I just do the moves, and I did not realize this man was looking at me different as I was doing the moves. I was not picking up on those things at all, and it was just one time we were all hanging out, and I think it was Selassie, yo. I think he like you, bro. And I was like, no, that's my homie. There's no possible way. Like, you gotta be kidding me. And then like it was crazy. Like later, like years later, he was straight up like, yeah, bro, I do like you. I mean, I already know you don't. I know you straight. I know you don't like guys, but I do like you. And I was always kind of terrified. I was like, oh, don't be terrified about that. You be straight. I mean, you can be honest.
Oh,
bad vernacular. My bad. But like you can be forthcoming with how you feel. I was like, it's not I apologize. I hope you didn't think I was trying to like mislead you or nothing, which was never the case. He didn't think that. But yeah, that was one that was like, I completely missed that situation. Completely misread that. So, and I'm really not good at picking up on signs because like I've said, I've been hit on before. I've been hit on after that. Still don't be picking it up. So that's my story.
I don't know, man. I feel like we as guys, we tend to do that. If a girl says hi and like wave at us, we like, oh, she's into me. I could get that if I wanted. But I mean, but in reality, I think it should happen in reverse because somebody could like look at you a certain way or even flick their eyes or whatever, or maybe not even flick their eyes or whatever, or blink their eyes. And they actually do like you, and you don't even like realize they like you, like my cousin was saying. And because I mean, I've had those conversations after college a few times with girls that I end up meeting with, and they tell me like, yeah, I was actually like, I really like you in college, but you came across like you were not interested, so or you just didn't notice me or whatever. I was like, wow, I didn't even know you like me. And so that happens a lot, and that also can happen where, you know, you walk up to a girl, you're like, she's like, you looking at her and she's looking back. It could be in any setting. It could be at the bar, it could be at the club, it could be at the grocery store, whatever. And you walk up to her and say, hey, what's up? And she realized, she tell you like, nah, you cool, but you're too short. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? You get some of that. You get some of that. So it's just what it is. You know, you just have to kind of just roll with the punches with that.
Cool.
Yeah, I would say I've misread cues. Like I have this big thing about eye contact, and it's like no matter what gender, if you make eye contact with me, I'm gonna make eye contact with you. And there's been instances, I'll follow the trend as D-Black, where I've made eye contact with dudes, and they took that as me reciprocating their attraction, and I'm just like, nah, like I'm looking at you because you're looking at me, and I want to make sure I'm prepared for what might be coming my way. You know what I mean? So, no pun intended. So,
hey, you.
No pun intended. But on the heterosexual side, yeah, like there have been instances where I took a cue as a woman was attracted to me and stepped up. And I'll be real, stepping up was a hard thing for me to do. Like I always kind of relied on a woman to tell me that she was interested because I just hated the idea of being rejected. But slowly over time, I got over that. But at first, it was like hard. Like I had to find clever ways to approach women, and without risking me being, shut down. But other than that, it was just like, yeah, it happens. Miscommunications happen. It's not a big deal. Just don't get mad if it doesn't turn out to be what you expected it to be, which I think is one of the things you have in mind. So on the agenda.
Right.
I don't really necessarily have one where I read it wrong. I have a funny story about really early on when I was dating my wife. We were hanging out. I lived in New Jersey. She lived in Brooklyn at the time. And I knew we were going to be hanging out late. So I brought just like a little bag. I had like my iPad and I had a toothbrush in there. And we were at her house and she's like, oh, I want to use your iPad. So she went in the bag and saw my toothbrush there. She's like, oh, so you're planning on staying the night tonight?
Oh, damn.
I was like, I was like playing that like, oh, like I was just like, well, yeah, I assumed that I would be spending the night. It's the weekend. Like I'm not going back to Jersey. So that was like a funny thing that we still joke about today. But yeah, she was just like, oh, like you brought your toothbrush. I guess you just knew that you were going to spend the night, here tonight or whatever. So that was, I felt a little, I felt a little embarrassed. But I was like, yeah, like why wouldn't I stay here tonight? Like we not going back to Jersey, like so. But
You mean like right here? You were planning to stay right here?
Yeah, like he was like, okay, so I guess you stay here. And I felt really stupid at the time, but I stayed the night and it worked out. But
I just prioritize my dental hygiene.
Yeah, I was just like,
exactly. You gotta finesse that. Like, I got everywhere I go, man.
I was not. No, I was not. I was not on my feet at all. I was like very much like a deer in headlights. I felt like I was like caught like doing something I wasn't supposed to do. Like I did not play it cool at all. But
that's
it
like
worked
getting
out.
Caught like dropping a condom. You ever like
that kind of stuff
drop a condom
too.
by mistake? You pulling out the Trojan, the Durex. Looking at you like, yo, this ain't going down tonight. Like I appreciate you trying to play it safe,
but you pack condoms for this trip. Okay, like,
of course.
You just never know when you might need it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, then you can't answer it anyway. So you always bring condoms. Like, so you okay.
Maybe
I can't. Yeah.
Friend, maybe.
Baby. I'm trying to hook my friends up just in case they need it. I got it.
I know.
Package.
I'm a good wingman.
Let's be real. When we were single, man, you gotta come prepared.
Oh yeah,
you never know.
Yeah.
No. I am horrible with signs of interest. You can ask D, but there's been times where like we'll be hanging out and a girl will stand next to me like, why are you like, get away from me? Like, stop standing close to me. Stop looking at me. Like, leave me alone.
You're weird, girl.
Like, this is really dumb. Just like, why are you breathing on me? Like, D, like, tell them to get away from me. Like, this is stupid.
I got one for you. I got one for you, Chunky. What about, remember one time that we were like in college and we were lifting, we went to the gym, and a girl blatantly asked you for your phone number. And you were like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't want to give out my phone number like that. Oh, let's go lift. You'd be like, like she's trying to holler, bro.
I'm like, and then I'm like, no, okay. Like halfway in the set, I'm just like, she really trying to talk to me? He's like, yes. Like, well,
that's like, I'm going to run out of minutes. I'm run out of my nighttime.
Pretty much like that's how much of a bonus.
I don't give my number out looking ass.
I just
when it didn't click. Some weird junk like, I really don't give up my number to strangers.
Stranger danger. Like, let's go to the gym.
That's so weird.
So horrible. I mean, I paid attention to the right one, so I got lucky. But other than that, all those years, if it wasn't for D Black trying to like, she's trying to talk to you, like, no way. Like literally, she's like in your face asking you how you are. Like, doesn't everybody do that? She's just weird. Just leave me alone. I never want to see you again.
That's so funny. I would never see you as that type. That's
like that.
Yeah, that's funny.
I was a huge nerd in college. Like I'd rather spend more time playing Halo with D Black than going out and doing anything else with anybody else. And that's just how I was. I was like, I'm focused to get through school, to get this stuff done. I ain't trying to play no games. And then Johnson came along. It was, and like Glenn was saying, like, it was so hard to get us out to go to parties. It was like, all right, we're gonna go to this party this weekend. I was like, but it's double teams weekend, it's double points to play, so there's some priorities there.
No, the hardest part for us going out with Selassie, and I'm sorry, it's a little deviation, but it's because Selassie likes to go to places with dress codes.
Oh, no chucks, no party.
And we were big on chucks at the time. Everything was about chucks. And Selassie said we weren't allowed to wear chucks in certain events or certain places. So we were like, F you, Selassie, we're not going. And then we would always tell him, no chucks, no party.
Glenn's been classy for a long time. I see.
Bro, you know, box front shoes, all that.
You know, say, Glenn, were you wearing them big ass button ups with big blazers and all that? Is that the swag?
Big shirts, box front shoes.
If I can't wear jeans, shucks, and a t-shirt, we wasn't going.
For real, I'm like, y'all ain't got a pair of church shoes, man. Just one pair. Just one.
Oh
this
my
is
God.
at home.
Champ showed up with Tim's on.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
Champ. He over here, he was like, no chucks. And then Champ was like, all right, cool. I ain't gonna bring chucks. This man showed us some Timberlands.
No lie.
Even
Tim's.
That's funny.
I can't get in. I can't get in.
I can't get in with Timberlands.
You can't get in with Tim.
Arguing with the bouncer because he's trying to
that reminds me of that. Maybe we'll post it to Instagram story. That reminds me of that Supreme Dream skit where like he and all his friends are trying to go to the club, and it's a club with like very stringent rules. So they're like, you can't wear earrings, so they take off the earrings. They're like, you can't wear sneakers, so they all had like an extra pair of shoes. They're like, you got to have a fresh haircut. They had a barber there. Like it was like literally like went through all the things, and the bouncer was finally like, "You're black. You can't come in here."
Yeah,
like, damn.
Yeah, we gotta post it. We gotta repost that video. But that's
exactly
that immediately
what it
made
was
me think of some of those hard dress code places. No baggy clothes, no white
Just
tees.
What was it? It was Colors in New York or something. That place that was like a hallway.
Yeah, that club was weak.
We sit in line for 2 hours.
It's
Oh
the
my
city.
God,
It's just the
gross.
city, man.
Bruh.
It was dope, though.
The one
Shout
time
out
I
to
put on
Coach.
dress shoes.
The music was dope. Don't
One time I put on dress
music.
shoes. It was not worth it.
The vibe was lit, but you had a shorty talking to you that same night, so it was like, you could have made it whatever you wanted it to be.
I was like, once again, I was like,
Hey, you know what?
Why is
My
this person
God.
in my face? I'm just trying to hang out with my friends.
Chunky and his thousands of books. I get it.
Oh gosh.
Hey, good job, Chunks. All paid off, right?
I love it. I walked into that one.
A million bucks.
Well,
Good job, Chunks. All makes sense now.
all right. Close it out. Finally, what was your best pickup line while you were dating?
Pickup line.
Come here, girl. No,
Man, I didn't even have a pickup line. My strategy was I'm very into the arts. I'm a creative too when it comes to the words. I would always write poems, and I remember I'll give one story. I would always write poems, and then one situation I was infatuated with this young lady, and I just didn't have the balls to approach her with my poem. So what I did was I made copies of one poem, and I put them in each pocket of a shirt that I would wear potentially to school that day. So I could never make the excuse that I did not have it on me to approach her. So that effort was in vain because I never approached her. But I did end up finding a girlfriend with the poems anyway. It wasn't her, but it was just like, that was my thing. I would write poetry, give it to some people went over their heads. Some people really liked it, but it didn't guarantee me a seat. And it was just my way of expressing myself, saying, hey, you inspired me. And that's something that ladies like to hear too. You inspired me. I created this, in remembrance of you. I hope you enjoy it. If not, I still got the poem at the end of the day, and you take what you take from it. If you don't like it, so what? It's all good. But that was my thing. I didn't have a pickup line. I had pickup words, pickup paragraphs,
Pickup poem,
pickup standards. Yeah, pickup poem. And I think that's dope. Bring poems back. We need poetry today.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. Very, very smooth. Very smooth. We gotta hopefully you can find one of those, and we got to get you on film reciting reciting the poem.
Roses are red. Violets are blue. I choose you, girl.
Was that you? Was that you, Glenn?
Glenn was definitely on some cerebral, like you remind me.
Of course,
you remind me of a sun coming up in the middle of the day,
the third moon of Jupiter on a Tuesday afternoon,
like a $700 dinner, girl.
All right, so I'm about to put Selassie on the spot right now. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because so Selassie, And it's funny because he was talking about the poem, because Selassie has always been a really good writer. And I remember when it's funny because Chunky writes poems too, exposed. But just Selassie is a really good writer. And it was, his poems were so good. And he had so many that I was actually trying to push him to get them published. That's how good his poems were at the time. But that just never happened. He wasn't trying to hear it. So just so anybody who's curious,
there's still time now.
level.
You can blow the dust off it, you know, get it submitted, or we'll just have a segment where it's just Selassie's corner and it's just nothing but poems all day.
I'm just gonna
And the
clutch
smooth
him and
talker.
keep him to myself.
No, you guys are special. You guys are nobody. You're not special.
Smooth operator.
Because then I won't feel special anymore because I've heard them. So.
We even did an open mic at Rutgers one time.
Yeah, we did an open mic. Yeah, we even did a whole open mic. And I was struggling to remember mine because I actually wrote one. I could not remember mine. Oh, actually, can I tell the story, Slot?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so basically that joke was so fire. It was so fire, right? Because while he was doing his poem, that he threw the paper and some girl was like, "Oh my God!" And she was sweating, and she was like, "Take me, Selassie." Okay. Yo, no, that joke was crazy because, mind you, so at Rutgers we always had like these open mics, and it was, run by the Black Student Association. But Selassie came as a guest for one of them, and that performance was crazy. Like it was so, and I felt bad because everybody who followed him they just seemed a lot weaker. They kind of trash.
Aww.
Yeah, man.
So sweet.
I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. That's it. I mean, ain't nobody throw their panties at me that day. So
Man, that's what your bachelor was supposed to do.
You weren't
Hype
tall
him
enough.
up.
we are literally like a difference of an inch. Okay, all right.
That inch means a lot.
Yo, girls do be using
Preference.
that. I've gotten that before.
You heard Dre's story. It was
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
4
right.
and a half
It was happening.
to 6'5". That
Even
inch
less.
is
Even
the
less
difference.
was happening.
Yeah. It's
Oh
crazy.
my God. So anyway, but yeah, the poems were fire. I was able to attest to that.
Thank
Glenn,
you, sir.
I am interested to hear some of this. Maybe I'll steal some and
Nah, no doubt. I got them recorded too. I'll throw some out there.
yeah, bet. But yeah, pickup lines for the weak minds. I'm just kidding.
Is that a pickup line?
Says
itself?
the man that has
All
none.
right.
As what?
Says the
That's
man that has
Pickup
none.
line.
Exactly, because I never needed one. But like, I mean,
So you got up on
mean-
your step stools like, look at me, I'm Francis.
you know what? Hey, you know what? Like I
Nigerian,
would like,
man,
hey,
they
you know what?
smooth
Real
talkers,
talk.
man.
I always tell people. I keep it real. When you
Mhm.
like 6'5", you cover all the spectrum of the girls, right? Of the women, you can cover pretty much. For me, like I cover, like 5'7", 5'8", and down. So I still have a pretty good, decent chance. So like, it's a number game. So
Mhm.
you say what's up, what's your name, what's your number, and that's my pickup line right there. What's your name? What's your number? but real talk though, I just like, it's just really just be you, man. Like if the girl is interested in you, she will like be interested and she will like hang out with you. And if she's not, then you just move on to the next and just try your luck with another girl. So for me, I never really dwell or try to come up with a line. Because I know like when, especially with social media, like on Tinder and Bumble and some of these other ones, people do like try to come up with something clever to say to get a girl to respond back to them. And for me, I never really took time to do that. I just say, hey, what's up? If you match with me, you obviously are interested, maybe not, but if you're not trying to talk, then it's what it is. And in real life too, it is what it is. It's a numbers game. Talk to 10, so couple will accept.
But now that you say that, I would say that was my I don't necessarily say I had any like pickup lines, but definitely back when I was dating, there was obviously no Tinder. So you really had to be about what you were saying to, obviously women back in those days, right? The DMs were basically like, you found a dating profile, you hit send message, and you had to write like a subject line in an email. Like it was like you were writing an email on the platform I was using. So you really had to like be smart about what you were saying. And I was definitely proud of some of the messages I wrote, but the one that I guess I feel like I'm talking a lot about my wife today, but the message I wrote to her was she had a lot of Beyonce references in her profile. So I said the subject line was like, read your intervention, read your Beyonce intervention, to kind of like, that show Intervention was like a really big show at the time. So I started the email like, your addiction to Beyonce has affected me in the following ways. And I was basically just trying to like, so that was my game, right? It's just trying to be witty, read someone's profile and kind of have something to say, right? Because otherwise, right, then it's just a bunch of guys just saying what's up, right? I want to stand out. So that was like my way of dropping out. So wasn't writing poems, but I was definitely being very thoughtful of the messages to make sure I cut through to get them to open up.
So me, I never really, oh man, it's looking so bad. I've never really had like any pickup lines. I was never really good at that. I was always kind of a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to talking to girls, to be honest. I mean, I feel like I don't know, any dude that swears like, from day one, yeah, I had it, man. I was talking to girl day one. And I was just letting them know what's up. You know what I mean? And they were looking at me like, yeah, that's what's up. Like that's cat. We all kind of go through that nervous phase, but for me, I mean, I was fortunate enough to just be primarily in relationships. I never really got too many no's, so it worked out. So like, because all the women that I ever approached, I approached them from a very serious perspective, very serious angle, long-term relationships. So, I mean, of course, there's probably some stuff I probably could have did better, but I'm glad I got where I got. I mean, my girl said yes. We both, I think I already told the story of how we met. A lot of the relationships actually I made were through connections, like so family, friends, and stuff like that. Like, oh, I think this would be a good person for you, So I never had to like kick too much game, which is great because I know my game is weak.
Chill, Chunks, chill.
No, I didn't have a pickup line. No. I mean, me and D-Black been around each other for a while. So like he's seen the best, he's seen the worst. And like for me, I'm just like, hi, I'm Chunky. What's your name? Cool. You want to go have some fun and go do amazing stuff? No, that's fine. Oh yes, let's go right off into the sunset. And then that's it. Right. I was just simple and straightforward. There wasn't anything too complicated, but if I wasn't sure, I'm like, hey, this is my friend D-Black. Do you like D-Black? No. Okay, then she works. Let's go off and buy into the sunset. Oh, you like D-Black?
We did that a lot, though.
I'm just like,
Chucky out here talking like he had a pickup line. You didn't have nothing either.
No, he ain't have nothing either.
I'm not afraid to admit it, but shit works out, right? But nonetheless, it's been good.
I was waiting for something amazing.
Nah, there's nothing. Like I had some old school stuff. Like my dad gave me, like, "Girl, I go for you." Like old people go for soft food. It's just like, what? But like I said, it's like to me, it was funny. Like stuff like that. It wasn't really meant to like pick them up, but nonetheless, it's a corny joke. And if they laugh at it, they have like a good sense of humor because they know it's bad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or that, or like I'm gonna knock that stuff in at the English McMuffin, like just dumb stuff. And it's just like they would chuckle and conversation goes. But yeah, I didn't have a pickup line, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. It's been good, fellas. For more content.
My bad.
No. What you got?
One point before we go. So Chucky, that one thing that he said was like about like with the girls and when we were in college. So Chucky would definitely ask the girls like, okay, do you find my boy attractive? And if they said no, then he would try to make his advance. Like, I don't know why he always used me as the gauge.
But like, no, because
you were the icebreaker.
But the thing was like what Francis said, right? So like if she's eyeballing your boy, it's just like it's an issue. It's just like, all right, let's just get that out the way now.
Oh, that's a good point. I never thought about it like that. I was just like, why do you always ask these girls, does my boy look good to you? No? Right,
that's a weird way to approach it.
Hey, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but
I mean, I've just say yes, and you have to like kick rocks and like, okay, bye.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, well.
Like, yo, AD, she like you, bro.
Listen, it gave me more time to play Halo. I was not.
Come close it.
I was
like, yo, D, she said she like short people.
I got one pickup line. I got one pickup line before we go that I found that I thought was very funny. My love for you is like diarrhea. I just can't hold it in.
Wow.
That's nasty, bro.
That is
Let us know if
awesome.
that works. Listeners, let us know if that works.
He's a listener of that
Yo.
word.
Single guys, if you're listening, definitely use that pickup line. But for more content to learn more about the podcast, feel free to check us out at Jerk Draw Off Collar Pod on Instagram. Podcast episodes drop every Wednesday. Stay tuned for the outro coming up right after this to learn additional ways to reach us and send us your feedback. Be sure to like, share, follow, or subscribe. Like what you're hearing, feel free to leave us a review on your preferred streaming platform of choice. See you all again next week. Peace.
And that concludes today's episode, but that doesn't mean the conversation has to end. As a matter of fact, feel free to check us out at JJC Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter for our post-discussion question following the release of this episode. If you are a Black or minority business owner or professional that would like to be featured on the Rep Yours segment of our show, or a listener with some general feedback for the podcast panel, feel free to shoot us an email at jjcpod@gmail.com. As always, likes and comments are always appreciated. Be sure to subscribe or follow to be notified when the next episode releases. And until then, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.